On number 5, you're given a side triangle. You're given the three sides, and you need to find the three angles. Anytime you're given the three sides, you're going to use law of cosines. So you just need to pick an angle to start with. I'm just going to go in alphabetical order and start with angle A. The law of cosines equation, we're going to do 5 squared, so that's our a squared, little a, equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c cosine of a. And we're solving for a. So just to map it out a little bit here for you, we are going to group some things together. I'm going to group these two together and this bunch of things together. We can't do that subtraction on that side because this 2 times 7 times 10, that's all the coefficient for cosine of a. That's linked together by multiplication. So we are going to have to divide to get the cosine of a by itself. So so our first group here, 7 squared plus 10 squared is 149. 2 times 7 times 10 is negative 140. And that's all equal to 25. So this is where you have to be careful with your order of operations. It is very tempting to do that subtraction, but don't do it. Hold yourself back. So what we want to do is subtract the 149. So we have negative 124 is equal to negative 140 cosine of a. Then divide. So we have cosine of a equals 124 over 140. If you remember from geometry and probably from algebra 2 as well, to get the cosine to the other side, you're going to do cosine to the negative 1. On your calculator, that'll be second cosine. It's also called arc cosine. So we have a equals cosine to the negative 1 of 124 over 140. And when you put that in your calculator, you should get 27.67 degrees. Rounding to 2 decimal places is fine. Remember, your calculator needs to be in degrees if you're wanting degrees as your unit of measure. So in order to get your calculator into degrees, you hit the mode button, which is right beside second, and just make sure degree is the one that is highlighted. Your calculator defaults to radians. So for these problems, these triangle problems, you want to make sure you are in degrees. Okay, so we're not done solving here. That's only A. We also need to find B and C. We know A is 27.67. We should expect that to be our smallest angle because A is our smallest side. Our smallest angle is always across from our smallest side. That's a good way to kind of check your work. We also know that when we use law of cosines, if you start using law of cosines, you have to keep using law of cosines. We can't switch to law of sines here. It can lead to issues when solving. You can get ambiguous solutions sometimes. So we need to do law of cosines again. Like I said, I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So now I'm going to find angle B. Same method. So to find angle B, we're going to do 7 squared, since 7 is our little b. 7 squared equals 5 squared which is our A, plus 10 squared, that's our C squared, minus 2A C cosine, and now it's cosine of B because we're looking for angle B. Same groupings as last time. We have our 5 squared and 10 squared. We're going to group together our 2, our 5, and our 10. And same step solving. We're going to move our 125 first. Then divide by 100. Negative 100. And then take the cosine, use cosine to the negative 1 to get a cosine all by itself, or to get B all by itself. Put that in your calculator and make sure your calculator is in degrees. Just like we expected, B is a bigger angle than A, since side B is a bigger side than side A. Now to find angle C, good news, we don't have to do law of cosines again. We just need to subtract the two angles we know from 180. So 180 minus 27.67 and 40.54 gives us 111.79 degrees for C. Again, when you're working with law of cosines, just be careful with your order of operations. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. And make sure if you start with law of cosines, you stick with law of cosines to solve for the second angle. And then you can subtract from 180.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.